Hi, and welcome to Talking Cars with Consumer Reports. I'm Tom Muchler.
Gabe Shanhar.
And I'm John Lincove.
We're going to answer a bunch of questions, and we're going to talk about road tests that we recently posted on consumerreports.org. So you guys ready?
Sure.
Yeah, let's dive in.
All right, first question comes from Facebook. Do you have a report on the Tesla Model S?
Oh, well, it's in the pipeline, and it's almost ready. The car is really remarkable, and we're really impressed with it.
You know what amazes me is Tesla's always in the news. Every day you seem there's something else. Elon Musk is fighting with Virginia so that they can sell the cars direct there. The stock price is through the roof. I don't think the New York Times thing really hurt them that much. It's
just more publicity.
It's just always out there.
And it's in the news for reasons that are better than Fisker, by the way.
Well, I think that's a big point is, hey, we're still in business. Fisker isn't, and they're going in front of Congress.
Yeah, I don't really think we should even mention Tesla and Fisker in the same sentence.
No, one of them's a real car. The other one,
right,
no longer exists.
One surprise, you can drift a Tesla. Next question, it's also from Facebook. Are there any 5 or 6 passenger cars with high ratings, performance, safety, power, and gas mileage? My 82-year-old mother can't climb into SUVs, and I also drive with my 2 grandchildren in car seats. So I want a 4-door hatchback station wagon type vehicle. They want it all.
That's a tall order. I mean, first of all, SUVs these days, most of them don't require you to climb in. So anything that's a small crossover, like a Forester or RAV4, does not require any climbing in, and that would be just a simple walk-in. No climbing, no ducking for an elderly person. I mean, even I feel it myself these days.
You're not old. You just look it a bit, don't worry.
Young at heart.
Yeah, okay, thank you. But yeah, I mean, in terms of ingress and egress, getting in and out, that's the ticket.
You know, it begs to bring up the minivan microvan segment.
No, not the M word.
I'm sorry. Okay, the mommy mobile.
Oh, that made it better.
That made it better. Look, Mazda 5 is the vehicle that this person would really want, except for the power issue.
And the noise.
Well, you know, you can't have everything. You know, I mean, it's
Ford C-Max.
Ford C-Max is a good one, but you know, you're squeezing in all those people, the 2 child seats and stuff like that. You know, look, Mazda 5, you have 3 rows of 2 seats. You can fit everything in there. You can even fit a little bit of gear in it, but it's noisy. It certainly is underpowered if someone wants something with performance.
If it's only 4 people in the car, you can do this with almost anything. A lot of larger sedans. You know, you can fit 2 child seats, and if grandma isn't too big, she can fit in the middle. I mean, you'd want to go to the dealer and try this all out.
You really have to do it yourself. Come in to the dealer and try the exact child seats and see how they interact with everything.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, I have 2 kids. I have a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. I deal with car seats every day. Every day I'm switching a car seat and you know, in the test cars. And I've actually put 4 adults and the kids into a BMW X3, for example. You know, squeezing in. You know, it's tough.
Which isn't a big car.
No, not a big car, but you could squeeze people in there. So, you know, it works in a pinch. But for carrying 4 people regularly, and then you're going to add in maybe another adult, you're stuck. You're going 3 rows. If
this 3-generational carpool is going to be every week, you know, it's really a minivan. You know, I mean, there was another post on Facebook. They said, "Don't know what car to buy. Will the minivan ever man up?"
Minivan segment is slowly eating itself. But you know, manufacturers pulling out of it. You know, some of the vehicles just aren't competitive. It's really great for the use of, you know, the way you use a minivan, the way a family of 6 uses a minivan. Nobody's asking for it to be butch. No one's asking for it to be the 911 of minivans.
If you're immune from the stigma, then there's nothing that compares to a minivan in terms of functionality, sensibility. I mean, there's no other vehicle out there that gives you that much space on such a footprint with that much ease of use, ease of access, decent fuel economy.
You know, the best example I can give is that my wife, dead set against a minivan.
Of course.
But this summer we're taking vacation, and the first thing she said was, hey, are you guys going to be testing any minivans? So it's great for the need, but a lot of people just don't want to own them.
You know, the thing is, I'm so biased here because I've owned 2 minivans. I had an 05 and a 2010 Honda Odyssey. I drove one of them cross-country towing my trailer. It was fabulous for whitewater kayaking and mountain biking. You fit the stuff in. You know, as much as I've got to mention it again, as much as we like our Dodge Durango, my wife really misses having the minivan because it was so practical. The thing is, I don't think minivans need to man up. People need to man up. Buy the car that does what you need it to do. Mm-hmm. There's lots of things that could work here. You've just got to try it and see if it works. Okay, we tested a bunch of cars recently that have just gone live on the website. So I want to talk about some of those tests. Toyota Avalon.
Toyota Avalon, Toyota decided that they want to really...
Come on, wake up, John. It's
sorry,
okay.
Avalon.
This is the new sporty, awesome Avalon, not the old boring, frumpy Avalon. Thanks.
There are some new wins at Toyota. Someone decided that they need to deflect all that criticism of car magazines, that the handling is lackluster. So what they did is sharpened up the handling, but they also sacrificed the ride comfort of the car. And just to kind of keep up with things, they made the controls complicated.
Yeah,
nice.
they put in the flush switches that we really don't enjoy.
Right.
And they seem to be scattered across the dash, too, in even more of a haphazard format or way than the Q system or my Ford Touch. They're just dropped with weird little icons.
It's so wide. The radio switches are split on either side.
I mean, that just put it in perspective. I mean, it's still a really pretty slick car. I mean, the powertrain is wonderful. It's really roomy. It's quiet. It's quick. And the hybrid version, I think, is the most interesting version of all of them. First of all, you don't get the 18-inch tires, so your ride's better. And to get 36 miles per gallon in a car that size, that's awesome. Unheard of.
Awesome.
Well, it's the one thing that makes it stand out. It's the same type of thing when I go talk about the Camry with people. People say, oh, I'm looking at Camry, which version? It's like, the only one I'd buy is the hybrid, because at least you get mileage. At least you get stellar mileage with the hybrid, and the rest of it kind of sucks your soul out. So the Avalon is...
The Camry hybrid's a nice car.
Well, it is. It's great, but
nice
that's the one to get. It stands up from the rest of the chaff, if you will. You know, and the same with the Avalon. The Avalon is... I wish the seat was bigger like the old one, you know.
Well, that's what worries me, is that if you are a loyal owner of the previous generation Avalon, 05 to 12, you're going to go to the dealer to go get the new one. You're going to go, what the hell did they do to my car? You know, the switches are funny. The access is worse. The back seat is nowhere near as good. Mm-hmm. You know, the old car was frumpy, and yeah, the dynamics weren't good. They weren't good.
Yeah.
But, you know,
it was quiet, comfortable, unobtrusive.
And I just don't think those, you hit it on the nail on the head. They're going after car magazines. I don't think every car manufacturer has to go after Car and Driver, Automobile, or Motor Trend and make them happy. Because I don't think every buyer cares.
And I would mention the Lexus ES in this context because, I mean, price-wise nowadays, you get an Avalon Limited, I mean, you bump into the price positioning of the Lexus ES, and that 300H hybrid, last week I took that car to North Carolina, like 1,600 miles round trip. I got over 500 miles on a tank of gas, 38 miles per gallon. That was terrific. Speaking
of fuel efficiency, we tested a Volkswagen Jetta hybrid.
Yeah, I mean, that car just has every powertrain, every advanced powertrain folded into that car. There is a direct injection, turbocharged engine, 7-speed automated manual dual clutch.
It's only a 1.4 liter, yeah.
Yeah.
Lithium-ion battery.
Lithium-ion battery. Steals some trunk room, but not too bad. But it all works well.
It had a lot of trunk room to begin with, so yeah.
Yeah.
The thing I wonder, though, is do people care that Volkswagen's making a hybrid? I mean, Volkswagen, you go to them, they're diesels.
Interestingly, I think the Jetta is the only car in existence that has a diesel version and a hybrid version in the same identical car, basically.
Yeah.
And we got similar gas mileage?
The hybrid is about 3 miles per gallon better. It's a second and a half quicker, but it's $3,000 more. Mm-hmm. I mean, which would you get? Would you get the diesel or the hybrid?
It's all a matter of price. So
you're getting the diesel?
With a diesel.
I'd buy the Jetta Sportwagon diesel.
Oh, you're cheating.
I would cheat.
You're cheating because
I mean,
the Jetta Sport Wagon's the old platform,
old-
which is the nice interior and
Yeah.
Oh, in that case, I'm buying the GLI then.
Well, certainly, you know, but we're going so far away from mileage and back to, you know, enjoyment. But I mean, I would stick with a diesel. I like the idea of diesel. I've run into troubles in driving diesels in the area. You know, you hit some gas stations on the Merritt Parkway, for example, no diesel. You get into a traffic jam, all of a sudden, you know, it's looking kind of dire.
Range anxiety in a diesel.
that's not what Bob Lutz said.
You know,
No.
I have had it in a diesel, you know, but that was my stupidity. But still, you do run into that problem where if you're dumb and not paying attention, that happens.
The thing that gets me, and with this choice, I'd buy the diesel too, is that when you go to resell the hybrid, no one's going to want it. Everyone wants diesel Volkswagen TDIs. The resale is terrific.
Diesel hybrid,
Yeah.
next step.
Yeah, only the Volvo V60, but and about a lot of money more.
$60,000.
Yeah, it's pocket change. It's all for fuel economy. Speaking of fuel economy, the Mazda 6.
32 miles per gallon, a family sedan, midsize sedan. That's a new record. I mean, that beats our Altima and Accord at 30 and 31. And nowadays, there's no daylight between in fuel economy between a subcompact and a compact and a midsize sedan.
We actually got that question from somebody on Facebook is, you know, why would I buy a small car for $1,500, $2,000 more? I get the same fuel economy, I get a lot more space.
That's a great question, and I agree. But you know what? I'm sure that $3,000 or $2,000 price difference is meaningful for some people.
For some people.
Yeah, footprint, you know, where you're driving it, where you're parking it on a regular basis, you know, could be an issue with that. You know, some people just, you know, less is more, if you will.
You know, I enjoyed the Mazda 6 a lot. You know, it feels light, it handles great. But then I went back and I drove a Ford Fusion, and gosh, you know, it's quiet, which the Mazda 6
It's not.
Oh gosh, no. So Mazda needs to buy some sound deadening.
They do. Same goes for the CX-5, even more so.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a moment.
Yeah.
It's you know, and the ride's better in the Fusion, and you know, the Mazda 6, it's fun. It just feels a bit insubstantial, I think.
Yeah.
It's thin, and there's some options and some, you know, manual seats you get into and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And
you can't get a power seat on the base trim.
Yeah, you know, it's just stuff you go, why? But it's a great car. It doesn't take away from the driving dynamics, doesn't take away from necessarily the seat comfort.
Probably the most interesting test that we just did was the Mazda CX-5 versus the Toyota RAV4.
That was a real photo finish. I mean, it was like by a whisker there.
Yeah, the Mazda just edged out the RAV4.
The cars are really pretty similar in their what they're designed to do. They both handle well, and they have a similar amount of space inside, and fuel economy is pretty close. The Mazda edges it out a little bit in terms of those numbers, but I could see people completely choosing going either way.
What would you go for?
Among those two,
Yeah.
I think personally I'd go for a RAV4 Limited.
Oh, spending the money.
Yeah.
Well, you have to because the seats aren't too
Right.
good in the RAV4.
Yeah,
The
I'd
only
go
way to
for
get
the
power
seat,
seat.
yeah.
How about you?
That's the thing. I mean, if you got to spend 35 grand to get a RAV4 that's comfortable and quiet, you know, comfortable seating, that's a non-starter for me. CX-5, I'll deal with the noise. It's sporty feeling. The seats fit me well. Space-wise, the kids were great in the back seat, you know, with both of them. But just because Toyota put some leather-looking stuff on some sections of the dash, everywhere I put my elbow, it's hard. It just wasn't a very pleasant vehicle in the driver comfort. And you know what? Looks outside are one thing. I'm inside. I'm in there all the time. I'm driving all the time. It just wasn't enjoyable overall.
You know,
One thing, go ahead.
No, please.
One thing I will add is that if you value ride comfort, I'd actually go for the Honda CR-V.
See, there's the wrinkle. I would have a hard time with the CR-V or picking choosing, you know, a CR-V or the Forester. We're finishing up our test on the Forester. That will be out next month. There's a lot of interest in it. We got a question, is the Forester still the best riding small SUV?
Sadly, no. And,
Yeah, we'll spoil the
that's
surprise now.
Something that has become a thing for Subaru lately. I don't know what they did with all their ride engineers, but They dial down on the ride comfort of the Legacy and of the latest Impreza, and same for the Forester. So,
but it's so practical. I mean, we did have another reader said, "I love Hondas. They're always reliable. CR-V's got a big blind spot in the back. Do I get that or a RAV4?" I think it's the Forester. It's like
visibility.
It's
just
terrific.
Amazing.
There's nothing better.
Nothing.
If Subaru could just make the whole package, you know, get rid of the lame climate control, you know, radio setup.
Oh,
you know,
the radio's not
I mean,
so good.
you know,
Yeah.
it's just little things in there that's like 2 steps forward, and then all of a sudden you go back and you're like, really? You couldn't spend money on that, you know? Because the visibility is great, the thin pillars, roomy as heck, and then something like that. I mean, I was driving our Outback last night, and the same thing was just like, oh, the steering is awful, and the ride felt just crappy. I was like, oh.
Yeah, we'll have the results on that next month. In our first podcast, we asked you out there to come up with a name. And Mike Schmidt, well, he picked the name that we chose, Talking Cars with Consumer Reports. Mike's a car guy, and he's local to the area, so we invited him to come by the track. Let's see what happens.
Glad you could come here.
Yeah, I appreciate the invitation. Nice name tag out there. I like it.
Yes. Yeah, apparently I'm the director of drifting now.
Well, my first ride in one of these.
Is that right?
Yep.
Let's try it out.
This car definitely is fun.
You know, I gotta admit to you, the whole reason you're out here is just give me another excuse to do this.
I think you scared him more than me.
To get your heart pumping there, Dave? That's what I'm talking about right there.
Yeah.
So it looks like Mike and Jake had quite a bit of fun there. We thank him for coming, and we thank him for the name. And we thank you for sending in all your questions and listening to our podcast. Till we see you again, thank you very much.